Production support for the weekly special is provided by IU School of Public Health Bloomington, addressing public health needs by preventing disease, promoting health, and improving quality of life across the state and around the world through research, teaching, and community engagement.
Smithville Fiber, the Giga City Company, a philanthropic community partner since 1922, and a proud supporter of numerous community organizations. More information at smithville.com.
The Al Cobine Recognition Endowment Fund, established by friends and family of Al Cobine to support jazz initiatives on WTIU and WFIU. And WTIU members, thank you. Tonight on the weekly special, meet Hoosiers who transform talent into legacy. Dream with Special Olympian Andrew Peterson as he reaches for the gold. Jive along Indiana Avenue with Indianapolis's own jazz legends. And welcome the celebrated musicians of Reverend Peyton's Big Dam Band. Be inspired to pave your own path tonight on the weekly special. Welcome to the weekly special. I'm Erica Sagone. It is incredible what someone can accomplish when they dream big. When Andrew Peterson discovered running, it was a match that would put his name in the history books.
Shortly after birth, I was found alone. I went to a foster home and was later adopted. My birth mother drank alcohol during pregnancy, and since I have brain damage from fetal alcohol syndrome, nothing in life has ever been easy.
Although children, teens, young adults with fetal alcohol syndrome have a brain disorder, they still have strengths, and it's important to identify what is it that they do well, and then build upon that.
In middle school, Andrew, one of Craig's 6 adopted children, all with special needs, began showing real promise as a runner. So he signed up for cross country.
I went to pick Andrew up from the first practice, and the coach called me over and said, I don't think this is going to work. I don't think Andrew can take directions, and I'm not sure if we can have him out here. I just took a little breath and said, I appreciate your concern. I will be here at the end of practice every day to pick Andrew up. We'll keep working on things at home, but you can expect to see my son every day at practice.
The Petersons went back that next day and every day after that. At Andrew's first ever cross-country meet, he came in second. He ran through junior high and high school and earned 4 varsity letters in cross-country.
Andrew's very competitive. Andrew likes to win. He learned early on in elementary school that sports with too many people and too many rules could be fun, but he couldn't be competitive. But when he ran, people noticed. The goal then was finding opportunities for Andrew to have success.
And one of the areas where Andrew has found tremendous success is with the Special Olympics.
We did Special Olympics track. Andrew won all the events at the area meet, won all the events at the state meet, which he's continued to do for the past 12 years since. Pretty quickly, everyone knew who Andrew Peterson from Indianapolis was.
All told, he's won more than 65 gold medals and, alongside his brother Michael, raised thousands of dollars. But perhaps just as important, the Special Olympics has helped a young man, largely nonverbal until early elementary school, find his voice.
What you might expect as being a person's inability, it quite often turns out to be a strength. And with Andrew, while communication may never have been something people considered to be a strength of his, once he found his voice, his capacity to convey what Special Olympics means to him is beyond anybody that I've heard talk about the organization.
Each person with an intellectual disability is not a nobody, but a somebody.
For several years now, Andrew has served as an athlete and an advocate, giving talks to groups around the state, like this one at the DePauw chapter of Sigma Chi.
Today, I still love to run. I practice 6 days a week with runners faster than me.
A few years ago, Andrew's natural abilities and love of running inspired a new challenge, marathons. And it didn't take long for him to identify a goal considered impossible by many, just not by Andrew and his dad.
We've always had reasonable goals for Andrew, and we thought if the best marathoners run in Boston, we're going to run in Boston.
But the Boston Marathon's not like most races. You can't just sign up. You have to qualify.
So he ran that first marathon in 3 hours and 15 minutes, which is a very respectable time for your very first marathon. But the Boston qualifying standard is 3 hours and 5 minutes for Andrew's age group. When Andrew missed the first time he ran the marathon, we were approached by the Special Olympics organization in Massachusetts, who receives a number of non-qualifying bibs. They were reserving one of those for Andrew.
Good job, Andrew. Good job. Good job.
Andrew's response was, I want to make it on my own. There's been one Special Olympics athlete who's made it to Boston, and that was 35 years ago. Andrew wanted to be the second.
The first was a woman named Loretta Claiborne. Born partially blind, she was unable to walk or talk until the age of 4. She eventually ran 26 marathons, twice placing among the top 100 women in Boston. To qualify, and to follow in Loretta's footsteps, Andrew would need to average just under 7 minutes per mile for just over 26 miles. In 2017 at the Carmel Marathon, he came agonizingly close.
He was 44 seconds short of qualifying.
I was heartbroken. I cried to think how hard a person works to come that close to a goal and not realize it. And I had to ask, Andrew, what are you going to do? And Andrew had a great answer. He says he's going to run faster the next time.
So Team Peterson set their sights on the Indianapolis Monumental Marathon and began looking for a solution to one of Andrew's biggest issues, pacing.
Being able to pace yourself so you're not going out too fast is incredibly important. Andrew can read a watch,
You got it, brother. Let's go.
but understanding that concept of time, he struggles.
What Andrew needed was a personal pacer, and November Project Indy was the first place they looked. Craig and Andrew had been working out with the local chapter of this national exercise group, and while it was full of accomplished, motivated runners, there was just one small problem.
There you go, Andrew. Great job. Great job.
None of the local members here could run fast enough to keep up with Andrew, but they reached out, and they found someone from Wisconsin to come down. So here we were putting our entire belief in that this man named Justin Jaselski, who we'd spoken to a couple times on the phone, never met, would be able to connect with Andrew and pace him to be around 3 hours.
As it turns out, they were a perfect fit.
Right off the bat, Justin was saying, Andrew, pull back. Justin essentially acted as Andrew's external brain. for that 26.2 miles. And his split times through the race, not only is he on pace, he just keeps getting faster. Andrew just looked like he was ready to conquer the world.
Official time, 2 hours, 57 minutes, and 33 seconds. Andrew Peterson had qualified for the Boston Marathon with more than 7 minutes to spare.
Everything fell into place perfectly. And for a young adult who has a disability, that was just huge for Andrew to be able to say, like, nothing went wrong today.
Let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt.
Andrew's achieved so many things over the years, but what makes me the most proud about Andrew is just the man that he's become, that he's always willing to help somebody out.
As Andrew marches forward with this quest to run faster and farther, he is changing people's minds about the way they think about people with intellectual disabilities. Most people who are involved in Special Olympics are known for and thought about for what they can't do. But Andrew's at the cutting edge of helping people understand that given the right circumstances, people can accomplish things you don't expect them to.
Andrew will be running in the 2019 Boston Marathon. Follow his journey at his Facebook page, facebook.com/Andrew Peterson Goes for the Gold. And Andrew will be the 500 Festival's first and only running ambassador at this year's mini marathon. Well, in the 1930s and 40s, jazz prospered along Indiana Avenue, inspiring Indianapolis musicians whose impact would go beyond state lines.
In the 1930s and 40s, Indianapolis's Indiana Avenue thrived with talent and music, filling the smoky clubs up and down the city's so-called Black Boulevard of entertainment. Vocal act The Ink Spots had frequented local venues, dancing for pennies and nickels in front of the Walker Theater before leaving to gain greater fame. Nationally known artists such as Cab Calloway, Duke Ellington, and Charlie Parker appeared at the Avenue's marquee showplaces like the Cotton Club and Sunset Terrace. It was easy for big names such as these to overshadow the hometown musicians, but Indianapolis was on the verge of spawning its own generation of jazz greats. Trombonist J.J. Johnson was the first such player to emerge, and like most other African-American youths in this era, he attended Crispus Attucks High School, an institution established in 1927 in order to segregate black students. Aided by devoted and demanding teachers, Johnson and others learned the rudiments of music and began playing in groups of their own, such as the Brown Buddies. After stints with 2 territory bands managed by the Ferguson Brothers Agency, Johnson got his big break sitting in with the visiting Benny Carter Orchestra one night at the Sunset Terrace in 1942. Still a teenager, he went out on the road with Carter's band and eventually became a bebop pioneer on his instrument. He was an inspiration to those who came after him, including fellow trombonists Slide Hampton and David Baker. Baker, who had become one of the world's most renowned jazz educators in later decades, often reminisced about seeing Johnson's photo on the wall at Crispus Attucks, and also about sneaking into the Indiana Avenue clubs when he was underage by drawing a fake mustache on his upper lip to make himself look older. Even though legal problems began to plague Denver Ferguson at the dawn of the 1950s, the Avenue was still thriving in those years. Another teenager would follow in the footsteps of J.J. Johnson and David Baker, trumpeter Freddie Hubbard. Hubbard, unlike his predecessors, attended Arsenal Technical High School, but his enormous talent and technical acumen became quickly known throughout the Indianapolis jazz community. In the mid-1950s, he joined forces with fellow up-and-coming musicians Larry Ridley and James Spaulding to form the Jazz Contemporaries, an Art Blakey-influenced hard bop group that found a following along the Avenue. Hubbard left for New York City in 1958 and soon landed a recording contract with Blue Note Records. He also became an Art Blakey jazz messenger himself and earned the admiration of older jazz artists such as Miles Davis and Sonny Rollins. As Hubbard left the Avenue, an older artist remained. Guitarist Wes Montgomery, born in 1923, had ventured out on the road in the late 1940s with Lionel Hampton's big band, but his need to provide for his family kept him in Indianapolis, working day jobs and gigging at night. He worked often with his brothers Monk and Buddy and evolved an octave-based style using his thumb instead of a pick that would make him one of the most influential guitarists in jazz history. But for years, Montgomery was one of the jazz world's best-kept secrets. One night in 1959 at the Missile Room, an after-hours club frequented by everyone from locals to police officers, Montgomery came to the attention of a notable visitor, saxophonist Cannonball Adderley, who excitedly departed the club in search of a telephone, eager to let his label know what he'd just witnessed. Montgomery soon signed with that label, Riverside Records, and saw his reputation explode far beyond the boundaries of his hometown. Throughout the 1960s, Montgomery frequently recorded and left town to tour, but he remained an Indianapolis resident, maintaining a large home and family. He was only 45 years old when he died of a heart attack in 1968. By then, Indiana Avenue, the place that had helped to launch the careers of Montgomery and his colleagues, was itself in a precarious state, besieged by urban renewal projects, highway development, and economic attrition, its cohesiveness ironically undone by the waning of segregation. Notable musicians such as saxophonist Jimmy Coe, David Young, and Pookie Johnson could still be heard around town, but it would be a long time before their city recognized the immensity of what had happened on Indiana Avenue. Those who had lived it already knew and would not forget.
To learn more about Indiana Avenue's incredible jazz history, go to WFIU's Nightlights program page, indianapublicmedia.org/nightlights. Our next musical guests perform over 200 shows a year, bringing Brown County vibes to the world.
I've been a professional musician in one way or another since I was about 12. My dad just brought home a cheap K guitar. It was just like, well, this is cool. I love this. This is what I want to do, you know. I started giving lessons when I was 13 or 14. I was obsessed with it from that point on. Have been ever since. I've been together with Breezy since I was 19.
We had hung out, but we hadn't really done like a date until we went to the state fair. And I think that's like the most iconic Indiana first date or something to that sort. Rev just had a tendency to describe everything as big damn, like, oh, look at that big damn door, or that big damn whatever.
We won this big damn bear, and I was just kind of being silly with it, you know.
Rev just kept walking around, joking around with people as though he was a carnival worker saying like, pet the big damn bear, pet the big damn bear.
So that's how we named the big damn band.
I always tell people when we first met, I don't know if I would have gone out on so many dates with him if I'd known how obsessed he was with playing the guitar and how much time he spent doing it. Because when we first met, it was right after Rev had lost the use of one of his hands. And he had a pretty major surgery and was able to overcome it. During his time off, Rev listened to older blues. It changed a little bit of the type of music he was playing. And we were listening to something that had washboards on, and I said, man, washboard's kind of a fun instrument. I'd like to try playing one of those. 2 days later, Reverend went to an antique store and picked one up. And that's kind of where it began.
We started playing out a lot, and it was getting to be where we had to make a decision. It was give up music or basically give up our jobs.
We were kind of like, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it.
Because there's no doing it halfway. You have to give up everything, walk away essentially from everything else and do it. There's no other way to do it. So we just sold everything and gave up everything.
And I'm not kidding, everything. Like, we had a garage sale where we just opened the door to our place, let people come in and buy anything in there.
We lived out of a van. We traveled around and played to empty rooms for a long time.
First time we played Salt Lake City, I think we played for like 10 people. And I remember thinking, we killed it with those 10 people. That was great. Did you see those 10 people? We sold like 5 CDs.
We just took it from the front porch to the world and then slowly built it up to where it's at now.
And now it seems like it was forever ago. I hardly remember life before touring.
We play several hundred shows a year. We've played in like 36 countries and 48 of the 50 states. I believe that, live music is about putting on a show. So we bring a show.
And we want people to come and be able to take the stress of work or their home life away and be able to have an evening where they can just dance and have fun and walk away just feeling great.
We're always trying to chase that adrenaline you get from a crowd and get them up to the level that you're at. The music that we make is real.
Music can take you away from something. If you are sad at the time, you can listen to a song and it can put you in a good mood. And I think that's the greatest gift of music.
I love making music. I'm still obsessed with it, like I'm relentless. It's nonstop trying to be better, and I'm always writing songs and messing with it and trying to improve the sound. And I feel like that inside me. There's like something inside my soul that's that way, that's tenacious and relentless, and I'm just gonna keep coming until I'm gone.
And now, Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band.
I never went to music school. I never took one lesson from anybody famous or two. I spent a lot of time in the woodshed on the back of the farm, and I studied real hard in the garage in the pond. How'd I get so good? Oh, let me explain. Got good on the front porch. I'm from Port Shane. I'm from Port Shane. I'm from Port Shane. I'm from Port Shane. I never did a deal with the devil. I never sold my soul. The good Lord knows didn't have to, 'cause I got good on my own. 'Cause spent a lot of time in the woodshed on the back of the farm, and I studied real hard in the garage in the pond. How'd I get so good? Oh, let me explain. Got good on the front porch. I'm from Port Shane. I'm from Port Shane. I'm from Port Shane. I'm from Port Shane. I never went to music school. I never took one lesson from anybody famous or cool. I spent a lot of time in the woodshed on the back of the farm, and I studied real hard in the garage in the pond. How'd I get so good? Oh, let me explain. Got good on the front porch. I'm from Port Shane. I'm from Port Shane. I'm from Port Shane. I'm from Port Shane. I never did a deal with the devil. I never sold my soul. The good Lord knows didn't have to, 'cause I got good on my own. 'Cause spent hard time in the woodshed on the back of the farm, and I studied real hard in the garage in the pond. How'd I get so good? Allow me explain. Got good on the front porch. I'm from Port Shane. I'm from Port Shane.
To learn more about Reverend Peyton's upcoming shows or their new album, visit their website, bigdamband.com. That's all the time that we have for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Once again, Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band. Production support for the weekly special is provided by IU School of Public Health Bloomington, addressing public health needs by preventing disease, promoting health, and improving quality of life across the state and around the world through research, teaching, and community engagement.
Smithville Fiber, the Giga City Company, fiber internet, HD, and digital IPTV in southern Indiana. More information at smithville.com.
The Al Cobine Recognition Endowment Fund, established by friends and family of Al Cobine to support jazz initiatives on WTIU and WFIU. And WTIU members, thank you.